Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. If you heard the last segment with the fire ants, I think I've officially gave up on Wikipedia as an information source. Burned too many times, I say. We are joined by Chad Channing. He played drums, and by Kevin Wood. He played guitar in the band The Fire Ants. Go like and follow them on Facebook, The Fire Ants Official. You can reach out to the guys and to get to them there. They're from Seattle. They're in the grunge scene. So let's talk about, you guys made it to Seattle, around that area in Washington. How did you guys meet and form the band?
Well, I think Dan and I met at Seattle Music before we hooked up with Chad, and he had a girlfriend over on Bainbridge, and he took a couple hours out of his visit to see her, and came over to my house, and we jammed for a little while, and we thought, man, this is starting to happen. And so next step, first guy I thought of was Chad, because Chad and I have known each other for a while, and he was like a breath of fresh air to play with. I tell you what, man, it just clicked.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, me and Kevin worked together. We worked at a seafood restaurant together. Yeah. So we were always just like, we were hanging out a lot just with the whole time. And so, yeah, when this all came about, it was just one of those things that just felt right from the get-go, It was like a good fit. It's just like, yeah, this is cool. Let's do this. So, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and then we started auditioning singers.
Oh, yeah.
And we went through quite a few. We had a guy, the first guy actually was pretty good, but then he just lost interest for some reason. And then we started auditioning guys. I think this was before Craigslist, and so it was out of the classified ads, which was just about as bad as Craigslist. And
out of the Rocket, yeah.
Yeah, or the Rocket. Yeah, remember that guy Jimmy?
Oh yeah.
Come up with a melody.
Yeah, where's the melody? I need a melody. But that first guy, I can't remember his name, but he always sort of reminded me of like Robert Plant, because he sort of had that stance, Yeah. He was kind of tall like him, and he was just like, and he was, he was a nice guy. He was good. I think we might have been too, like hardcore for him or something.
Yeah, maybe, because he didn't cut through the mix very well.
Yeah, he didn't.
Because we played louder than hell too.
True.
We were just cranking. So, but anyway, my brother Brian actually wanted to try out, and so we invited him down to Dan's basement to try out, and he was actually the first guy we could actually hear over the mix, and so we were all pretty impressed.
Yeah, that was a good sign right there. That's all I needed to know. What? We could hear him over the mix? He's in.
Yeah.
And his dog.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Yeah, old Tiger. So that was a criteria. If you could hear the vocals over the mix, you were in the band.
That was awesome to hear you guys reminisce right there. Now, when you think about the Seattle scene around this time, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Mother Love Bone, Candlebox, Sunny Day Real Estate, the Melvins, and really the list goes on. How hard was it to get a gig at a bar or a concert venue?
It was not hard at all, really, was it, Chad? We had plenty of gigs. Yeah.
Yeah, we had gigs probably darn near close to every week, and at least 2 gigs a month for sure at the bare minimum. It really seemed like we were just all over the place playing all the time. But around that time too, everything was on fire with music, and so there was, we don't have nearly as many clubs and places to play as we right now as we did back then. In the Seattle area. Back then, there were all kinds of clubs, and there was no shortage of bands to fill those clubs up, or people to come see the shows. So it was always that was kind of a very beneficial, nice thing. It was very rare that a band was like, man, we can't seem to find a show. In fact, I don't think that happened at all during that period. It's like, oh yeah, I got a show here. A lot of times too, people like, come over, hey, so we got this show, and they're looking for other bands. People would come up and ask you to play as well sometimes. So yeah, it was a very cool period.
Yeah, we had the pedigree going for us too, because Chad had toured the world with Nirvana, and then I was sort of a stalwart of the scene, being there from the 80s in Malfunction, yeah. And then my brother being the singer too, and and Dan was awesome at networking. He was in a band called Native Messiah. He had his own connections too, so we had nothing but open doors.
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. And yeah, just like you said, man, times have changed, because bands that I'm talking with from Houston to Jacksonville to Orlando to Buffalo, they're saying that, man, clubs are closing like crazy these days. I'm like, how are people going to find out about new bands? How are record labels going to sign new bands if nobody can play anywhere? It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I was actually just talking about this earlier this morning with my girlfriend, how the arts in general has been taking such a massive hit with this whole COVID-19 stuff. I mean, it's like literally the arts clubs, bands. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I even went out and saw a band. I mean, literally that whole scene is just, I mean, there isn't, it's just dead. At least around here it is. I think it is probably true for a lot of other places, but it's just weird. It's like it's a ghost town, and I hope and cross my fingers that some of these smaller clubs and stuff are able to weather this storm, so so we can get back to playing places, and but I fear that that's probably not going to be the case for a lot of clubs, and they're just going to be gone forever.
Yeah, no, it's that way down here too. I live in the Bay Area now, and it's everything's shut down. There's no gigs going on anywhere, and I really see a lot of the smaller clubs and as far as restaurants and coffee houses, small businesses, a lot of them are probably not going to open up again.
Yeah, it's a shame.
All right, so let's hop in the DeLorean, hit 88 miles an hour, and go back to 1991. You guys released Stripped. It was produced by Jack Endino, who produced the Bleach album for Nirvana, also did some stuff for Soundgarden and Sub Pop. It was released on Dekema Records, and recently in 2015, there was a deluxe edition that was re-released. It was remastered with some additional demo material, but originally it was a 6-track EP. Tell us a little bit about what inspired the album, and how was it you guys recording for the first time together?
Well, it was at that point. I mean, it was certainly the Fire Ants at their pinnacle, and like Brian was definitely right on point. And there was a lot of energy, a lot of good energy going on during that time and doing the recording. And I think everybody was excited to record the EP and record with Jack as well. I mean, because Jack's a great guy to record with, and he's really good at picking up on things and reading and what bands are looking for and stuff. And he's so working with him was a lot of fun. And I just think for me, I remember just being really excited just to get back in the studio, because I think at that point it had been a while for me. So I was really looking forward to that. So yeah, it was just gonna be fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, and everything went really smoothly too. We just knocked out those songs. I mean, just one after the other. I think we had some takes that we didn't keep, but for the most part, we were just pretty much in and out of there in a weekend. Yeah, things. Yeah, that's true. Things just really flowed for us pretty quickly. Just bam, 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 and but then of course, some of those outtake stuff I think is probably the stuff that made it on the deluxe version that was re-released. Yeah, we did have that session. Remember that downtown at a different studio where we covered manic depression, and we had some other ideas that we were fleshing out.
Yeah, what was that studio's name? Oh my gosh,
I can't remember.
Oh jeez, oh no. Well,
we had that single came out first. What was on the single? I can't even remember it.
I can look that up right now. I think Mine Is Alive might have been on that.
Yeah. We had, it was called Ant Acid, and it had, remember that? It had little ants crawling all over sugar cubes.
Yeah, ants crawling over sugar cubes, yeah. I'm trying to see if I can actually pull that out of my singles box. It might be clumped together with a bunch of other stuff somewhere. Oh, there's the Blue Big Cheese single.
We had we were trying to come up with a cover for the EP, and we had an old porno poster that we had in our practice studio. It wasn't X-rated or anything, but it was raunchy, raunchy enough. So we're throwing around ideas with that concept, and I don't know how it ended up with the cow being caught in the barbed wire on the cover.
I don't know either. That's always been a mystery to me. Like, how did that even happen?
I know. How did that happen? I can't remember.
100 Wives and Mine His Alive. I'm looking at the single right now.
Wow.
Yep. Yep. And we released that in, it says 1992. Yeah. Dekema Records, 1992. And it's the single too is, all songs produced by Fire Ants and Jack Endino. So yeah, recorded at word of mouth, which of course was reciprocal at the time. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, 100 Wives and Mine His Live. Huh, crazy.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played mine. I never had a 45 adapter.
Oh, jeez. Whoops.
So I have one, but it's unplayed.
Yeah, I've got like three copies of it. I don't know how I ended up with 3, but I don't know. Anyways, that's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. You know what? It's also kind of a coincidence, too, that our album cover featured an animal, a farm animal. I believe it was a cow, and up against the fence. And then when Pearl Jam put out their second album, what do you see on the cover? A freaking farm animal right by the fence. I mean, who's copying who here?
Jeez, I didn't even think about that. That's weird. All these years I never gave that up.
Yeah, I brought that up to Stoney like years ago, Stone Gossard,
Yeah.
And he says, "What are you? Are you really upset about that?"
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tear your head off. No,
yeah, and they owe you royalties because the cover sets the tone.
That's funny. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like minds think alike, right? But I don't really know. It wasn't us who decided on that cover. I mean, I don't really know how that cover came about. I remember that guy. I think Todd Schneider took that photograph. So he's the guy who should be doing this soon.
Yeah. I never really knew how that cover came about either. That was just kind of just one of those things that just, that's our cover. Okay.
Yeah, I think we were all just arguing about the cover, and finally it came time to release it, and we said, who cares? Just get it out.
Somebody put something on there.
Yeah, looks like a cow. Whatever. Maybe the cow is being stung by fire ants. Maybe that's why it's relevant.
We're talking to Chad and Kevin from the band The Fire Ants. You can check them out on Facebook. Make sure you like it tonight. The Fire Ants Official. Their music is available on your favorite streaming and downloading platform, whether it's Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, Apple. It is all there. Just search The Fire Ants. We'll be back in a few minutes. But speaking of antacid, here's The Fire Ants with Mine His Alive.